So last Sunday was Easter Sunday, and we had such a great time together as a church. We are breaking in our new meeting location at the kids' school. I say the kids' school, but it's where my kids go to school, but it's also the church. What we are really looking at, this one little simple truth sort of takeaway, was right in between Jesus' death and then his resurrection. It says, and the next day was the Sabbath, and he commanded rest. In our culture today, we all move at such a high pace. It's almost like this thought is if you don't have a lot going on, then you're not being productive. And that mentality ends up burning us out so badly. I know from experience that, especially in Orange County, there's an abundance of things to do. Things are so expensive that you just have to constantly grind and you're constantly going. And so the result of that is you burn out. You become emotionally drained. You become exhausted, and then you start to have all these anxieties. These fears of, what if I can't provide? What happens if this or that or these things? And so when we were looking at the scripture, I pulled out that he commanded rest. Now, in this scenario, in this case, the disciples and Mary and all the women there are dealing with something really, really difficult, which is death. Any of you might have experienced something like the loss of a loved one over the last 5 years through the whole sickness and all of that. And you know how exhausting it is to go through a traumatic experience, especially losing someone. When you have to plan a memorial or a funeral, you don't even know what day it is half the time. You're not hungry, you're not tired, although you're exhausted. You're just emotionally drained. And I'm sure all of these people, Jesus' followers, the women involved, were so exhausted. But look at what he commands in that verse. He says he commands rest. He commands rest. See, in the resting, a couple things happen. One, the storm is calmed. The storm is calmed because Jesus is working things out. When he commands you to rest, it's because there's nothing more that you can do. In their case, what were they going to do? Try to overthrow Rome or take over the Jewish mafia that was falsely accusing Jesus and put him to death? No, there's nothing that they could do. So they went home and they rested. See, in their rest, Jesus was at work, calming the storm. Now, another thing that happens when we rest is this. God speaks in the rest. See, when we are resting and he is calming the storm, we're actually able to hear him speak. And I believe that's probably, we don't know for certain, but just based upon God's character is what happened to Mary Magdalene. Because on the next day was the first day of the week, and she woke up early and went to the tomb. And that is where she received the message from the angel. He is not here, but is risen. And then she relays that message to the apostles. And then that message goes on. And now here we are today, a couple thousand years later, still repeating that same message. He is not here, but he is risen. So if you are feeling today like you are just depleted, emotionally exhausted, emotionally, spiritually, physically, maybe Jesus is commanding you to do one thing: rest. So that way he can tell you what your next mission is. Maybe he needs you to rest so he can calm the storm and then tell you which direction he wants you to go. So that is our message. It's our simple truth. And I hope you enjoyed it. Share it with somebody. If you don't have anywhere to go, join us Sunday mornings at 10 a.m. in Dana Point at RH Dana Elementary. Join us at, you could go to our website, headlandschurch.com, or visit us on Instagram, headlands_Calvary Chapel. And that is it. God bless you guys.